Let's play a game, fellow human. How many players in this battle have above 50% win rate? Now, I originally wanted to make a video about the Centurion, but then this happened, so let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the big three problems, the big 3 C's that holds Blitz down in terms of matchmaking quality, and that is casuals, Cyrillic, and clowns. The first is casuals, the type of player that just doesn't know any better because they've never seen a tank before in their life, because Blitz is obviously a very old game at this point. So there are going to be a lot of players that just play this game because it got advertised to them, and because they're just like, hey, this looks cool, I start playing it. So obviously you can't expect anything at that point, but what you can obviously expect is some kind of trajectory of improvement, and if they still suck at 20,000 battles, that might not be nice. But obviously what happens is the older a game gets, the more popular a game gets, the more players you have that don't really know what they're doing. So as a result, the gameplay quality does decrease because you then have more players that just simply don't know what they're doing because they just started playing it for fun, and that's what the game's about. Like, the game's not about having great stats or getting all the tanks, it's about simply having fun, right? So my recommendation at that point, if you are dealing with bad matchmaking, is to simply not think it as, oh, I'm having bad teams, I'm having bad matchmaking. Think of it more like, oh well, my teams are bad, but that doesn't mean I have to be, right? And that's the important part there, because I mean, in this game I completely sucked but still did pretty much top damage. So yeah, so basically it's obviously going to get more casual, the skill level is obviously going to drop the more popular a game does become, but you don't have to be affected by it. It's very simple. Just simply don't care about what kind of teams or what kind of enemies you're having, but know what they're doing. Like, you don't have to care about what you're doing, but you have to know what they're doing. Like, are they doing that? Or are they camping in that corner, for example? That's all you gotta know. Now, why they're doing that, nobody really knows. They don't even know it themselves, so there's no point to even ask. But yeah, just if you get yourself mad playing this game, just don't. Like, just don't. It's supposed to be fun. And yeah, there's gonna be a lot more casuals that have no clue what they're doing, and there's no point to get mad because you can't change it anyway. And the amount of players that had above 50% win rate was, well, 1. It was only me. So, I mean, there's nothing to expect here, huh? Now I wish to never talk about the EU or EU server merge ever again, because, I mean, unfortunately it happened, and because of that, chat is now disabled in Blitz. Now, chat was kind of fun, but let's go a bit further than that. Let's go to Counter-Strike Global Offensive for a minute, because I've wasted quite a lot of time with it. So, over there, it has voice chat. And what I've learned from Counter-Strike Global Offensive is that there are some people that simply just don't stop talking. Even if you ask them nicely, they're gonna talk about their lunch, they're gonna talk about whatever they find pleasing, and oftentimes, in 99.9% of cases, that group are Russians. So yeah, I knew that the EU or EU server merge is probably not gonna be a great idea because of just the sheer amount of spam. It ain't about the language. If it'd be Germans spamming everything, I'd be mad at them too. So it's the sheer volume of stuff that gets kicked at you, and if you've ever played Counter-Strike and you've listened to the voice chat once, you probably know what I'm talking about. And you can ask them nicely, but they ain't gonna stop. So obviously that was a huge mistake, and World of Tanks PC fixed this very easily by simply making 2 separate clusters, one for EU players and the other one for RU players that migrated to RU. Problem solved. Now the problem again is really that if you put playstyles together that were separate for 9 years, then you have to have any form of acceptance and tolerance between them. It's like, okay, you're here now, you do that, and then, okay, I'm here now, I have to do that, because that's how it works. But that's never gonna happen, because, I mean, this is humans we're talking about, so, you know, and this is also Blitz players, so you don't think that far. That's obviously not great, so that has, at least on the EU server, significantly reduced the gameplay quality for the most part, and also reduced the chat quality. Out to all the you NA and Asia players out there, what do you think? Are you happy that chat is still there, or would you wish that chat is disabled as well, like it is in the EU server? Put it down into the comments if you haven't already. We now get to number 3, and that is the clowns. We've got the casuals, we got the Cyrillic folk, and now we have the clowns, and these are the worst of them all. Because these are the people that have 30,000 battles and still have 41% win rate. The ones that are actively avoiding to get better, right? Because even accidentally, you will pick up something. Like, you will even accidentally learn something in 30,000 battles or 20,000 battles or whatever. You will even accidentally learn something and be somewhere near average, right? But then when we go to, like, below 44, 43%, how the hell do you even get there? Now, ideally, Wargaming had introduced a new type of matchmaking to put the really bad players into the wrong queue. However, that only really included players of, like, 37%, of which there are, like, 20 that I've seen, which is already way too many. And that's good. That's a great step in the right direction. However, there needs to be... Well, I mean, there's never going to be an encouragement for these players to play better, because, I mean, as long as they pay, it doesn't matter what they do, right? But basically, what should happen at least, that it's balanced, right? That if your team gets a 40% player, that the enemy team also gets a 40% player. Because then it's at least fair, right? Because then you both play 6 versus 6, and it's fair again. So I think that would be very nice. Now, obviously, the problem with that is that it might lead to longer wait times, which means you have to build a system where it just gradually increases the spread it looks for. Like, let's say we have a 50% player that is looking for a match. Now, we don't have a 50% player. Now we look for 51 to 49. We don't have one of those. We look for 52 to 48, right? And then we increase that. Now, we are going to get a lot fairer matches out of that, and it's obviously going to be pretty much a lot more fair, because in a lot of cases, it's not annoying that you lose because you had a bad team. It's more annoying that they just crumbled so incredibly quickly that you didn't even have time to make a difference, right? Those are the worst kind of matches, like those 10% of absolutely awful garbage matches that nobody wants to have. I think those gotta go away, because here's the thing, you can't win every match. Not every match is gonna be good. It's impossible, right? It's never gonna happen. You're always gonna have 30% of matches that are gonna be ugh. But at least what can be done is to eliminate that worst type of match, and that includes extremely unfair battles. Like, for example, you have a platoon of two 40%ers on your team. That's a guaranteed loss right there, unless something goes really wrong, right? Because two 40%ers, you basically end up playing 5v7 right from the beginning. And if the other team has two 60%ers, what the hell? Same with AFKs. Like, if you got an AFK, you lose. So I think it should definitely be done to eliminate those kind of crazy unfair matches. And easy way, make it fair. If one team has a bad player, the other team has a bad player. If one team has a good player, the other team has a good player. And also ban AFKs. Come on, like pasture. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.